Hey everyone, good afternoon. I'm Chief Meteorologist Darrell Winninger from the Central Oregon Daily Weather Center, and across the high desert we are indeed in an active weather pattern with afternoon thunderstorms that started up yesterday, continued today, and are still expected through Wednesday and Thursday. Thursday is going to be the most active day out of the next 7, but we still run the risk of some dry lightning and gusty winds if you get caught in an outflow boundary. So we're about to take a deep dive into your most reliable forecast. Look at what's been happening here through today, what's going to happen through the next couple of days, and how that's really going to impact us right here in our Tri-County area on the high desert. So we're starting off with our satellite and radar, and through the day we had a pleasant start with more sunshine. We've had increasing clouds through this afternoon with scattered showers and even some thunderstorms. At the moment, most of the thunderstorms have been on the east slopes of the Cascades. When we take a closer look, most of our Tri-County area hasn't even had any sprinkles, but some of us will be getting that here through the rest of this evening. The bulk of our activity is still stretched from just northeast, or northwest I should say, of Mount Bachelor, even the St. Ian Pass, a little cell right there, all the way south through Lapine to just east of Crescent. Now, these thunderstorms aren't too strong, but we are looking at the potential of some lightning-activated fires, some lightning-started fires because of this. And when we look at the bigger picture, there have been some thunderstorms around Baker City, and most of the activity has really been over south central and southeastern Oregon, where we've had a couple hundred lightning strikes down there just in the last few hours, and a lot of it is from through Lake County, around the greater Lakeview area, from running just south right into California. And here through the next few hours, this is going to start to fizzle out, but we still run the risk of some of those thunderstorms in our Tri-County area. And because of this, the National Weather Service has issued a series of red flag warnings. First, there's a red flag warning until 11 p.m. tonight. Then a second red flag warning goes into effect tomorrow at 2 p.m. and continues until 11 a.m. Thursday due to the potential of frequent lightning strikes and gusty outflow boundaries. Any fires that start are likely to spread rapidly. On top of that, there is a heat advisory just to our north, and today Warm Springs got up to 100 degrees, and more triple digits are expected north of our Tri-County area through the next several days, but we're still counting some of those lightning strikes. Meanwhile, when we look outside across the high desert, we have a mixture of sunshine for parts of the Tri-County area to clouds for others, and even some of those thunderstorms that have been impacting us. In fact, when we just focus on that thunderstorm activity, it's been mostly over the eastern slopes of the Cascades, including right around Sisters, right around Lapine, going up through Bachelor to the crest of the mountains. And here in the last 12 hours, we've had 700 plus lightning strikes, but a lot of that were holdovers from yesterday, so not even just today, but it is something we're continuing to track, and ultimately we have this chance of thunderstorms today. Southeastern Oregon has a marginal risk of severe weather, but by Wednesday we keep the thunderstorm chance, mostly in the afternoon. By Thursday, it's going to be scattered to widespread thunderstorms, but not much of a risk for severe weather. So let's focus on this a little bit more. Do one more round of satellite radar. And here through the last several hours, we've had some thunderstorms. Most of them in the Tri-County area have been focused on the Cascades. The rest of Central Oregon, a few sprinkles, in and out clouds, breezy winds for many of us. And when it comes to the thunderstorms that are rolling through southern Oregon and northern California, one of those cells prompted a severe thunderstorm warning a couple hours ago in northern California, but it's since started to recycle, and it's not going to be as strong as it continues to roll north. We are continuing to track that cell just south of Lakeview though right now. Now, when we look at the even bigger picture, what we're noticing is there's a couple different features that we're actively tracking. First, a very broad and strong low pressure system over northern Pacific Ocean and the Gulf of Alaska. Second, a strong ridge of high pressure out over the Pacific Ocean. Third, another high over the Four Corners region. And fourth, a plume of moisture coming in from the Pacific right into the Pacific Northwest. This plume of moisture, this trough, is where our thunderstorm activity has been focused through the last couple of days, today and yesterday, and during the next couple of days, Wednesday and Thursday. And this trough is going to gradually work its way to the north, but eventually, by tomorrow, low pressure develops right on the southern edge of this and pushes north through the Pacific Northwest. Now, as we track that, as it moves to the north, we are expecting even more thunderstorm activity by the time we get to Thursday, but ultimately that will push out of here by Friday. So just looking at the forecast model, we do have some thunderstorms today. Those will fizzle out by 7 o'clock. A few sprinkles left on the map. That fizzles out as well, and overnight in and out clouds are expected. Now, winds are mostly going to be a light breeze, but a few sprinkles are possible, and by Wednesday, more clouds overall, and then another chance of afternoon thunderstorm activity, mostly the southern half of our Tri-County area for lightning potential, but by Thursday, widespread thunderstorms are even going to be possible as that low works its way to the north. Now, outside of areas that have been getting wet, we have relative humidity values in the teens and 20s. That is very dry. So if you have any dry thunderstorms where it's just sprinkling and some lightning is active, that's where we could be looking at the risk of fire potential. So fire danger is pretty high today, and high temperatures, look at this, in the 80s and 90s with 100 degrees in Warm Springs. Currently, those temperatures aren't too far off from that, except for where we've been getting showers and thunderstorms. We're looking at 70s instead of 80s at the moment. Now, that change in temperatures, well, we're running between 4 degrees cooler and 8 degrees warmer than we were just 24 hours ago. And here through the rest of this evening, a warm evening is in store for us, and then mild conditions are expected overnight. Temperatures falling through the 60s and into the 50s, but tomorrow we heat up once again. We're looking at another round of 90s and 80s with a few triple digits, but our UV intensity forecast is going to be a little lower. Still high, still at 6. But because of that in and out cloud cover, periods of clearing, we're not looking at the very high conditions that we've had the last couple of days. Remember, a mild start, 90s and 80s for highs with PM thunderstorms expected, and then a low pressure starts to develop. So Wednesday, 90s and 80s. By the time we get to Thursday, that low starts to work its way north through the Pacific Northwest. This is when we have our most active day, when we're looking at scattered to widespread thunderstorms, especially through the afternoon. Still highs in the 80s, a few 70s possible and gusty winds. By Friday, that low starts to roll out here. What that means for us is we start to clear out. Temperatures are going to take a hit, though. In fact, we're falling back into the lower to mid 80s and a little below average for this time of the year, but by this weekend, another dip in temperatures with another weak system on Sunday brings us to either side of 80 degrees. So here through the next several hours, you can expect those thunderstorms to wrap up. In and out clouds overnight. By tomorrow afternoon, some thunderstorms are expected. And then by Thursday, we have scattered to widespread thunderstorms. Starting in the late morning, going through the afternoon is when the peak of our intensity is going to be. And then Thursday night, we get clearing. By Friday, in and out cover, maybe some afternoon showers. And then going past that, we have more sunshine than cloud cover Saturday, keeping on that trend for Sunday, but some afternoon clouds and a few sprinkles are possible. And then by Monday and Tuesday, more sunshine than cloud cover, and temperatures start to rebound. So between now and 7 a.m., still looking at the potential of some thunderstorms, but between through Wednesday, afternoon thunderstorms for the southern half of our Tri-County area with widespread thunderstorms expected Thursday. So between now and Friday at 11 p.m., we're all getting wet. Most of that happens on Thursday. So winds have been a little gusty, 15 to 25 miles per hour to the north, and actual wind speeds more like 5 to 15 miles per hour. But when we go ahead and look at our winds trend, it is getting a little breezy at times this evening. By tomorrow, we see a repeat of that, but stronger winds are expected on Thursday when the bulk of that low pressure system is working its way north through the Pacific Northwest. So for tonight, mild 50s and 60s. By Wednesday, we're looking at 80s and 90s with a few triple digits and afternoon thunderstorms. The hotter it gets, the higher the potential of thunderstorm activity. And we keep that through Thursday. Now, Thursday, we get our first dip in temperatures, staying in the mid-80s through Saturday, but then we have that weak system rolling through on Sunday. That's what's going to knock us back down to either side of 80 degrees, below average for this time of the year, and by Tuesday, we start to rebound. So just to recap for you, our weather headlines for this Tuesday, July the 29th, some calming, thunderstorms calming down, expected tonight, with in and out clouds. So some clearing is in the forecast, mild temperatures, and a little bit hot, elevated relative humidity values. By the next couple of days, we still have this risk of thunderstorm activity through Thursday. By Friday, just a few PM sprinkles before we really start to clear out and dry all the way into the weekend. We really need it because we have been running pretty dry. There have been some thunderstorms, but not much overall in the way of precipitation for parts of the high desert. The southern half of the Tri-County area has been getting rain. We still need a lot more to catch up to the deficit that we've been in here through the last last year or so, and there is still a drought, a moderate drought for parts of the high desert. So that's the latest in weather. Join us tonight on Central Oregon Daily News. One of the latest headlines and your most reliable forecast. It's at 5 and 11 on ABC and at 6, 7, and 11 on CBS. Also, tomorrow, Thursday and Friday, we're going to be live from the Deschutes County Fair and Rodeo. It's going to be so much fun. We'll see y'all then.